Hi. Our March break is going a little long and I'm getting kind of bored, and the people I live with, they're not that much fun. So I thought I would do some fun stuff that I would be doing if I was at school if it wasn't March break. So one of the things I was going to do with my class when we got back was the Paper Bag Princess. My cousin Tracy's little girl Harper really loves this book, and I do too. And teachers were sent resources around this book because this was May 7th was its 40th anniversary. So I already made all the photocopies and everything, but if you want them, I can email you the link to the package, or I could try to figure out how to bring it up. But when I tried to bring it up, it had my name in it, so I don't know if I have to send it to you directly. So I thought we could start by reading the book, Paper Bag Princess. And I don't know about you, but if you have a paper bag if you have a paper bag you want to put on a doll or an action figure or yourself, you could do that to do these activities, and it might be more fun. Don't make a crown because we're going to do that. So this book is called Paper Bag Princess, and it was written by Robert Munsch and illustrated by Michael Marchenko, who illustrates lots of Robert Munsch's books. So I really like it. When I look at the front, it doesn't remind me of the typical princess you see, right? With the big fancy dress and all that. So that made me curious as to what it might be about. So we'll read it. The Paper Bag Princess. Wow, I've had this book a long time because the school that I worked at when I got this does not exist anymore. It was Saint Jean de Brébeuf, and it's not there anymore. So I've taken really good care of this book. So I'll show the pictures and I'll read the words. But I'm trying to see if you can. Okay, this is my first try at this. Okay. Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. She lived in a castle and had expensive princess clothes. She was going to marry a prince named Ronald. Ta-da! I guess that's in there. Yep. Unfortunately, a dragon smashed her castle, burned all her clothes with his fiery breath, and carried off Prince Ronald. That was not nice. Elizabeth decided to chase the dragon and get Ronald back. She looked everywhere for something to wear. But the only thing she could find that was not burnt was a paper bag. So she put on the paper bag and followed the dragon. He was easy to follow because he left a trail of burnt forests and horse bones. Ooh. He does not look friendly. Just making an observation. Finally, Elizabeth came to a cave with a large door that had a huge knocker on it. She took hold of the knocker and banged on the door. When the dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Well, a princess. I love to eat princesses, but I have already eaten a whole castle today. I am very busy. I'm a very busy dragon, so come back tomorrow." He slammed the door so fast that Elizabeth almost got her nose caught in the door. Elizabeth grabbed the knocker and banged on the door again. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Go away. I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten a whole castle today. I'm a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." "Wait!" shouted Elizabeth. "Is it true that you are the smartest and fiercest dragon in the whole world?" "Yes," said the dragon. "Is it true," said Elizabeth, "that you can burn up 10 forests with your fiery breath?" "Oh, yes," said the dragon. And he took a huge deep breath and breathed out as much fire as he could, that he burnt up 50 forests. Wow, 50. If we were going to count to 50, it'd be like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's a lot. Fantastic, said Elizabeth. And the dragon took another huge breath and breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 100 for us. Okay, stop. We have to do 100 now. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That many forests. That is a lot. Magnificent, said Elizabeth. And the dragon took another huge breath, but this time nothing came out. The dragon didn't even have enough fire left to cook a meatball. Not enough fire at all. Elizabeth said, Dragon, is it true that you can fly around the world in just 10 seconds? Why, yes, said the dragon, and jumped up and flew all the way around the world in just 10 seconds. He was very tired when he got back, but Elizabeth shouted, Fantastic! Do it again. So the dragon jumped up and flew around the whole world in just 20 seconds. When he got back, he was too tired to talk, and he lay down and went straight to sleep. Elizabeth whispered very softly, Hey, dragon. But the dragon didn't move at all. She lifted up the dragon's ear and put her head right inside and said, as loudly as she could, Hey, dragon! The dragon was so tired he didn't even move. Elizabeth walked right over the dragon and opened the door of the cave. There was Prince Ronald. He looked at her and said, Elizabeth, you are a mess. You smell like ashes, your hair is all tangled, and you are wearing a dirty old paper bag. Come back when you are dressed like a real princess. Well, that is extremely rude. After all she did to save Ronald, that he would be that rude to her. Ronald, said Elizabeth, your clothes are really pretty, and your hair is very neat. You look like a real prince, but you are a bum. And they didn't get married after all. And that's the end. And I like the way that she didn't put up with that. That's not how to treat a friend, is it? No, no. So I have some fun stuff. I went to anicpress.com, and if your mom or dad or grandma or whoever wants me to, I can email them this link, and it let me print off an 18-page activity package for Paper Bag Princess. Some of it is maybe a bit for older kids, but we can have fun with a lot of it. So I'll show you what I got. First, I just got, that's the cover page, which if you wanted to put it in a book, I guess you could color these things and put them in a book. And then there's a little, it looks nicer if I printed it in color, it would be all nice, but I didn't. I printed it in black and white. So it says about the book. So I learned this a long time ago, that when a boy and a girl go to the library, oftentimes, more often than not, the boy will choose a book based on what the front cover looks like. And if it grabs him, he likes the book. But sometimes people don't realize that on the back of the book, there could be information about the story. So if you read that or have someone read it to you, then you can get a feel for the story and decide if it's a book you think you're going to like or not. So when I read about the book, so if we didn't know the story of the Paper Bag Princess, it says, when the fiercest dragon in the whole world smashes Princess Elizabeth's castle, burns all her clothes, and captures her fiancé, Prince Ronald, Elizabeth takes matters into her own hands. With her wits alone and nothing but a paper bag to wear, the princess challenges the dragon to show his strength in hopes of saving the prince. But is it worth all that trouble? So that's a little bit about the book. So if someone asked you to tell them about the book, you could tell them about that. So one of the things here is a crown. And I've already colored the crown yellow. I haven't cut it out yet, but you know I'm going to. So I just colored it yellow, but I thought I could add jewels. So it doesn't matter what you have for coloring with. Some people use crayons or markers or whatever. I'm at my dining room table, which is kind of like my craft area. My husband doesn't like that, but he's usually not home anyway. So I colored everything yellow, and then I thought, well, I could put some jewels in the crown. Some green jewels. You can use crayons, or if you have stickers, you could do that. I like green jewels. They're like emeralds, right? Or you know what you could do? You could spell your name in here maybe. Like a letter on each ball or something. And then what I thought would look nice around the bottom here, in that big long rectangle at the bottom, I thought we could do some patterning. If you remember from school when we did patterning, so we could do like a purple, purple triangle. What should I do next? I'll do a purple triangle. Then I already used green, so maybe next I will use, I don't have a lot of wonderful colors here. Oh, I have coloring stuff everywhere. Okay, I like pink. Okay, so I did a purple triangle. I'm going to do a pink square. So for doing a pattern, what would I do next? Purple triangle, pink square. Purple triangle. I know you know what comes next, right? Because if it's a real pattern, we'll be able to predict what comes next. And I can tell by this AB pattern that the next thing is going to be a pink square. Now, you can do this pattern all the way across, or you can try and trick your grown-ups and see if they know how to continue the pattern and make them do the next two. I think I might do that. So I'm going to leave those two blank, and then I'll show you how we put the pattern, the crown together. So what I did was I cut along the bottom. So just like scissors or like an alligator, open and close the mouth. We want to keep that mouth on the line. That's the river that the alligator has to stay on to eat his food, okay? So open them, close them, open them, close them. And I'm going to cut it all the way to the end. And then I'll cut out the shape of the crown. I'll just do it loosely right now so it doesn't take up too much time. But you can even attach feathers or stickers or glitter or whatever you want on your crown. And I don't know. So I cut it out like that. I would cut out these other pieces and I would get someone to finish the design. Maybe I'd spell my name in here in those. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the piece I cut off and I'm going to glue it on like a headband. I got some glue. I think my head might be too big. My head's too big. So I'm also going to use the paper I cut off the top of the crown. And if you need anything like crayons or stuff like that, I can always send you some or mail you some or drop some in your mailbox depending where you live. And I promise I won't lick the envelope because nobody wants teacher germs, and I'll wear gloves. Okay. So And the crown's the night. I like the crown because I might think of something later. I might find some jewel stickers later and think, oh, I'm going to go back and add it on my crown, and I can do that. I think my headdress shrunk now. Okay. Ah, I feel like a princess. Okay, so I have that on. And then when I go through the package, the next page tells us how to make a cootie catcher, which is something that you probably saw before. So the first thing you do is you cut the excess off the paper. You want the paper to be completely square, so you might need a grown-up to help you. And then, I wonder which way I should do it. I'm going to do it like this. Yeah. So I'm going to look at the writing in the picture. Am I? Yeah. And I'm going to do the folding. I should have maybe done a little bit of a trial run here, but I think it'll work. I know how to fold it. The only thing is if I start upside down, I'll have to switch it all around and do it over, which I think I just did. Yes, I did. So now I'm going to put the writing away from myself instead of looking at it. And the thing about making mistakes is it's never really a mistake because then you know what not to do. So it tells you kind of by doing the wrong thing what the right thing would have been. So it's not really a mistake. It's just like a little learning experience. And I have a lot of them because even old people make mistakes. So then once it's folded, I'm going to put it face down. And I'm going to fold the corners into the belly button again. Oh, see, this worked. And I only made that one little misjudgment. Now, this is also something that would look nicer colored, or if you have a colored printer, you could print it. And so now, there's pictures which you could color. One is the crown. One is the dragon. One says princess, and one says tennis, because remember Ronald was a tennis player. So then you put your thumb and finger into the points. First time is usually the hardest because the paper's all stiff. And I'm all okay. Now, okay, so it looks like that. So then I ask you to pick one. And if you pick one, I will spell it as I open and close the cootie catcher. We call this cootie catcher. So let's say you picked princess. I go Princess. And then you can pick one of the numbers. So say you picked 3, then I'll go 1, 2, 3. Then you pick another number. Say you pick 5, then I get to flip up the number 5. And I'm going to tell you, you will get a new pet dragon, a really big one. I guess it tells you your fortune or your wish for you or whatever. But anyways, so once you do this, you can make any cootie catchers. And they're not really hard to make. Your parents might remember from when they were little how they made them. Another thing it gives us is a cube to make. So there's 2 kind of lines on this when you see it in person. It has dotted lines and solid lines. So the solid lines are the ones you cut out, and the dotted lines are the ones that you fold. So don't cut out the dotted lines. We're just cutting the solid lines. And again, you can have a grown-up help you cut these out, or you can just practice, because the only way to really get good at using scissors is by practicing. I'm left-handed, but when I was little, they didn't have left-handed scissors. So I learned how to cut with my right hand, and I don't know how to use scissors with my left hand now, which is kind of funny because I am left-handed. So this cube is also really nice, the pictures. They would be a lot prettier if you colored them. And I don't know if this would have printed as color if I had a color printer, but or if it came out black and white and we're supposed to color, but either way, it would work. And then I could think of a fun game you could do if you were playing this with someone. It's going to be like a die, and if we do it right, it'll be square, and then we can roll it, and then whatever character comes up when you roll it, the other person could have to act like that person or say something that person would do. So I'm going to pre-fold all the lines, dotted ones, as well as, yeah, I guess I cut off all the solid ones. So I'm going to pre-fold everything so that when I go to glue it, it'll be nice and sharp corners. Otherwise, it's going to look like a ball rather than a cube. And yeah, I didn't color this because I just didn't get around to it, I guess. I don't really color a lot unless I have a reason to, and I guess this could have been my reason to, but I didn't. So if you need anything for this March break or this extended March break, I have lots of extra of most things. So if you live in town, I could drop it off wearing gloves and a mask. If you live away, I can mail it. Okay, so I pre-folded all the flaps. Oh, I forgot the ones between squares. You want to really fold on all the lines so that once the glue is ready, you won't have to fiddle with it. Okay, so on the side, I'm not really sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna glue the flaps on the same side the pictures are on. So you're not gonna glue the back of them. You're gonna glue the front on the side the pictures are on. And you can do the bottom couple at first. You don't want to glue them all at once, or you could have a big mess. So I glued these ones. So now, as I fold up the square, the side flap can stick to the one gluey one, and I can use my finger to press it on and make it stick, hopefully. I also glued these flaps on the second square. So now when I bend those down, I can tuck them under. And just don't rush, really, is the main thing, right? If you just take your time, it should go okay. Okay, so now I made like a little box, and now the lid has, I'm going to put glue here, and glue here. This one is going to be a little more difficult to glue on because I don't want to squish the rest of the box to make it fit. I remember when I taught grade 4 many years ago, we were doing medieval times and castles and all that, and one of the activities was to interview a vampire, or a dragon. So like one of the kids would be a TV interviewer with a microphone, and the other would be like a dragon or a king or one of the other characters from medieval times. Okay, so turned out okay. It's not really sturdy. I guess I could have photocopied it or glued it to like a thicker paper, but it should be fine. So right there, when I rolled it, it came up as Elizabeth when she was all dirty and tired, and I think she might look a little scared. So if we were playing this game, you would have to say something that she would say when she was tired and dirty and scared, like, Ronald, you look like a prince and you are dressed very nicely, but you are a bum. Yes, I think I could say that. There's a picture of Ronald. So if you decide to do that game, that's how you can play it. Okay, finally, because I was going to do this with my class, I made like 25 copies of this. So it's just a picture of Elizabeth's head and arms, because what does she wear? A paper bag. So this is a paper bag puppet activity. So whenever you make a paper bag puppet, there's two sides to the puppet, right? There's the smooth side where your name goes, and the other side where the chin goes. So if I'm making a paper bag puppet, I always like to put the part I want to open here, like her face. I want to come up so it looks like she's talking. So the first thing I did was I colored Elizabeth. I didn't want to color her hair brown because the bag's already brown and I wanted it a little more colorful. So I colored her purple. And instead of yellow to color her crown, I used a yellow highlighter. And I put a little lipstick on her. And I don't know if you can tell, I even gave her some eyelashes. And so after I cut it, I colored her. I cut out her head with the crown and glued it on. But I glued it right at the chin of the bag. So when I move it, it'll go up. And then I cut out her arms and I just glued them hanging down. So now, it's like, hello, you are a home. It works, eh? So I have lots of those. If anyone wants one in the mail, I will not lick the envelope. And so yeah, here's some stuff you can do. If your grown-up wants the package, I will email them a link if they just message me. If you're watching this, probably your parents know how to get a hold of me. Otherwise, you can email me, I guess on my home email, which is Sloan, SLOAN, Katy, KATY at hotmail.com. And I can send them the link for this package. And I thought it would be fun if you did dress a doll, maybe in a little paper bag, or wear one yourself. Actually, could be fun. I think I might take this off, do a little more decorating. So yeah, my cousin's daughter Harper really liked this story, and I like the story. I like the way Elizabeth's not just going to accept the fact that Ronald's mean to her and then live with him forever. She realizes that she's worth more than that. She's a good person and she deserves someone who treats her well. I really like that. So if you have a specific story you like and you want me to do some activities with it, please let me know, or even a theme. I know there's a little guy named Christian who really likes spooky things, so I've got a few little skeletons together. I'll do a video for him too. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy your time off of school. It's a hard time right now. We don't really know what's going on, so it's really important to listen to our grown-ups because they know what to do to make us safe, and they're taking good care of us. But I miss seeing little people in my life because you guys are a lot more fun than old people. Spoiler alert, it's true. Okay, well, have a good night. Bye.